In the heart of ancient Rome, where power, ambition, and wealth intertwined, a fascinating figure emerged. Marcus Crassus, the richest man of his time. Known for both his colossal fortune and his tragic downfall, Crassus embodied the dream and nightmare of Roman ambition. In this video, we will explore his entire trajectory, revealing the highs and lows that shaped his story. Marcus Licinius Crassus, born in 115 BC, came into the world surrounded by privileges and influence. His family, belonging to the senatorial class, was one of the most prominent in Rome, and his father, also named Marcus Licinius Crassus, enjoyed great prestige as a consul and general. Crassus's youth was marked by the constant presence of power and wealth, a life surrounded by the Roman elite and destined for great achievements. In ancient Rome, where lineage and name carried immense weight, Crassus seemed destined to follow in his father's footsteps, taking his place on the political and military stage. However, even his powerful family was not immune to the dangers and instabilities that permeated the civil wars that plagued Rome at the end of the Republic. The prominent position of the Crassus family, once synonymous with security, soon turned into a threat. With Rome's political landscape increasingly fragmented, the family was struck by a series of financial and political tragedies that forced them into temporary exile. During this period of adversity, Crassus experienced loss and uncertainty, but it was also during this time that he demonstrated a remarkable capacity for adaptation and resilience, traits that would shape his future trajectory. Crassus's exile to Hispania, following the tragic death of his father and the defeat of the political faction he supported, marked a turning point in his life. The one who had been born into luxury and power now found himself forced to flee Rome, deprived of the stability that his family once offered. This period, however, far from being an irreversible decline, opened doors for the rebirth of Crassus as one of the shrewdest and most ambitious men of his time. Hispania, with its vast opportunities and distance from the Roman political scene, became the perfect stage for his recovery. It was in the remote regions of Hispania that Crassus began to rebuild his life, dedicating himself to what would make him famous: the accumulation of wealth. He seized the moment of crisis, and with a unique strategic vision, began to explore mines and acquire properties at extremely low prices, often purchasing land from people in financial despair. Crassus's ability to capitalize on the misfortune of others allowed him to start amassing a tremendous fortune, which grew with every opportunity he found. His business acumen was as sharp as his political ambitions. The financial success of Marcus Licinius Crassus was remarkable and consolidated during a time when Rome faced crises and instability, allowing his ability to seize these opportunities to make him a legendary figure in the economic history of the Republic. He is remembered as the richest man in Rome, not only for his fortune but for the ingenuity with which he accumulated it. Crassus had an exceptional talent for identifying and exploiting situations of vulnerability. During a time when many Roman citizens faced financial disasters, he stood out by buying properties from desperate individuals. Many of these transactions occurred after devastating fires or natural disasters, situations that left owners unable to recover. One of Crassus's most emblematic strategies was the use of a private army of slaves, who not only performed common tasks but were also specifically trained to fight fires. When a fire broke out in Rome, he acted quickly, sending his slaves to control the flames before the situation escalated. With the emergency under control, Crassus took advantage of the emotional and financial vulnerability of the affected owners and offered to buy their properties at ridiculous prices. Thus, he often acquired valuable land and buildings for a fraction of their true worth, consolidating his influence and wealth. This tactic, although criticized by many as cruel and insensitive, demonstrated a strategic vision that would become his trademark. Additionally, Crassus invested in silver mines, another significant source of his wealth. He realized that by controlling the mines, he could ensure a steady flow of valuable resources. The mines, often located in remote areas of Hispania, allowed Crassus to accumulate immense quantities of silver, essential for financing his political and military ambitions. Success in the mines not only increased his wealth but also granted him prestige that reinforced his position in Rome. As Crassus's fortune grew exponentially, his influence and ambition also expanded, leading him to a prominent position in Roman politics and the army. This newly acquired power was soon put to the test in one of the most significant challenges Rome would face: the Spartacus revolt. With a rising army of slaves threatening to destabilize the Republic, Crassus found himself at the epicenter of a conflict that would not only test his military skills, but also shape his legacy forever. The Spartacus revolt, which took place between 73 and 71 BC, was a pivotal moment in Roman history and involved the largest slave uprising the empire had ever known. Crassus, with his immense ambition and influence, took on a crucial role in suppressing this rebellion that threatened the foundations of Roman society. From the outset, the revolt proved to be a formidable challenge. Spartacus, a Thracian gladiator who had become the leader of the insurrection, managed to gather an army of tens of thousands of slaves, challenging Roman authority in an unprecedented manner. Initially, Crassus faced significant difficulties in defeating this rebellious force, underestimating the determination and combat tactics of Spartacus and his followers. However, after several initial defeats, Crassus demonstrated his military and strategic capabilities, surrounding and ultimately defeating the slave army. The decisive battle occurred in 71 BC, when Crassus, using his experience and the discipline of his troops, managed to dismantle the rebellion and capture the remaining leaders. This victory not only earned him military prestige, but also solidified his position as one of Rome's most important leaders at the time. However, Crassus's fame was not that of a hero. Following Spartacus's defeat, he made a brutal decision that stained his legacy. To send a clear and exemplary message to the rest of society, Crassus ordered the crucifixion of 6,000 survivors of the revolt along the Appian Way, one of Rome's main roads. This brutal action not only accentuated his reputation as a feared leader, but also earned him a reputation for cruelty. After Crassus's brutal victory in the Spartacus revolt, he not only consolidated his status as one of the most feared leaders in Rome, but also realized that military power, while essential, was not enough to secure his position in the turbulent political arena of the Republic. With social and political tensions rising, Crassus understood that he needed strategic allies to further solidify his influence. Thus, in 60 BC, he formed a political alliance known as the First Triumvirate with Julius Caesar and Pompey, two of the most powerful men of the time. This alliance was not just a union of forces, but a shrewd political calculation aimed at balancing power between rival factions in Rome, allowing the three leaders to work together to promote their personal and political interests. While this collaboration had the potential to alter the course of Roman history, it was important to note that Crassus was often seen as the weakest among the three, especially in terms of military prestige. Despite his immense wealth and influence, Crassus lacked the same level of military experience that Pompey had and the political charisma that Caesar possessed. However, he brought significant financial resources to the table, which allowed the triumvirate to sustain and prosper. The combination of Pompey's military power, Caesar's popular appeal, and Crassus's wealth created a formidable force that challenged the political norms of Rome. Together, they could maneuver more effectively through the complex political and social challenges that the empire faced, leveraging mutual influence to achieve their goals. The alliance among these three men shaped the fate of Rome, leading to a series of events that would culminate in profound changes to the structure of government and Roman society. However, as political and social tensions in Rome increased, Crassus's need to consolidate his influence became ever more urgent. The first triumvirate had provided a temporary platform of power, but Crassus's quest for military recognition and the need to stand out among his powerful allies led him to consider new paths. In 53 BC, driven by his ambition for military glory and new riches, Crassus decided to launch a campaign against the Parthian Empire, located in the region that is now Iran. This choice reflected not only his desire to expand his influence, but also the need to overcome the perception of weakness compared to his allies, Julius Caesar and Pompey. However, this campaign would prove disastrous. Crassus made a series of strategic errors. Ignoring crucial advice from his generals and experienced men who understood the difficulties of fighting in such environments, Crassus underestimated the power of the Parthian forces, who were well known for their mobility and tactical skill. The campaign, which promised not only military glory but also substantial wealth, quickly transformed into a colossal disaster. A significant strategic error was made when Crassus led his legions through the desert, a terrain that was not only inhospitable but also favored the ambush tactics of the Parthians, known for their exceptional ability to use light cavalry and archers. Crassus's legions, unprepared and unaccustomed to the desert terrain and the enemy's mobile tactics, quickly became easy targets. The Parthian archers, mounted on horseback, shot arrows with agility and relentlessness, causing heavy losses in the Roman ranks. Realizing the severity of the situation, Crassus was forced to attempt to negotiate a surrender, but his efforts were in vain, as the Parthian forces were unwilling to offer any concessions. The battle not only resulted in a humiliating military defeat, but also in a devastating loss of Roman lives, reflecting the fragility of Crassus's position and the seriousness of his misjudgment regarding enemy capabilities. It is estimated that the number of soldiers killed was devastating. Crassus commanded approximately 40,000 soldiers, and historical sources suggest that around 20,000 to 30,000 Roman legions were killed or captured during the conflict. Crassus faced a terribly cruel and humiliating fate. According to Roman sources, in a symbolic act of revenge for his greed and unbridled ambition, his captors poured molten gold down his throat. This execution not only emphasized his relentless pursuit of wealth, but also became a grim metaphor for how his ambition led him to ruin. The death of Crassus had repercussions that extended far beyond his tragic personal end. In addition to destabilizing and weakening the already fragile alliance of the First Triumvirate, it also undermined his authority and influence, as he was seen as a mediator between Julius Caesar and Pompey. Without his presence to balance the rivalry between the two leaders, tensions between Caesar and Pompey began to rise exponentially. This growing enmity culminated in a series of conflicts that resulted in the Roman Civil War. As the rivalry intensified, each leader sought to consolidate their power and support, leading to an open struggle for control of the Republic. This civil war, marked by bloody battles and political betrayals, resulted in the rise of Julius Caesar as dictator. Thus, Crassus's defeat not only sealed his tragic fate, but also altered the course of Roman history, leading to the end of the Republic and the emergence of the empire under the leadership of Caesar and, later, his successors. With this, Crassus's legacy is filled with complexities. Although many remember him for his great wealth and tragic end, he also played a significant role in the politics and economy of Rome. His ability to amass fortune, especially in difficult times, helped shape the economic landscape of the era, showing that he was more than just a rich man. On the other hand, the ambition that led him to partake in the disastrous Parthian campaign became a cautionary tale in Roman history. Crassus allowed himself to be driven by the pursuit of glory and ignored important advice, underestimating the challenges of the battlefield. This thirst for power came at a high price, turning his story into a lesson about the dangers of unchecked ambition. The term crass error came to signify poor decisions, perpetuating his name as a warning that the blind pursuit of wealth and fame can lead to tragedy. Thus, Crassus's legacy is a mix of achievements and failures, reminding us to be cautious in the pursuit of our desires. Now we want to know your opinion. What do you think could have changed Crassus's fate? What should he have done differently? Leave your answer in the comments and share your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content about ancient Rome and other incredible stories. And in the video appearing on the screen, I bring a complete documentary about the life of Julius Caesar. So take advantage and click on the video to check it out.